If you can't get to the water but you want to train like a freediver, then apnea walking might be the simple best exercise you can do. Just hold your breath and walk. In this video, I'll give you 3 simple exercises you can start today. If you're new to this channel, my name is Gert Leroy. I'm a freediving instructor, former national record holder, and on this channel I have helped thousands hold their breath longer. And today we're gonna hold our breath while walking. So why does apnea walking work? Because it is an exercise that mimics the activity of diving. So when you do static apnea, then you're static, you're not moving. So you're holding your breath while you're not moving. And that's not how a dive happens, because when you dive, you're holding your breath and you are moving. So apnea walking is a way of holding the breath and thus using your oxygen and building up CO2 in a more similar way as freediving does, whether that is horizontal or vertical. So we could actually say that static apnea is a less realistic representation of a dive because of the slower CO2 buildup, whereas in freediving, you're moving, especially no fins, you have faster CO2 buildup. So a few observations about safety. First of all, never use a nose clip in the rare case that you would black out. Now, it's very unlikely you would black out because of buildup of CO2, high CO2. The urge to breathe will manifest itself in such a way that you will stop apnea walking. But in the rare case that you would black out, then you want your airways to be free, of course. So if you're wearing a nose clip, then only your mouth, which is like half of your airways, right? 50% is available to start breathing again. So you don't want that. You want your nose and mouth to be free to breathe again in case you would black out. Second, never do this on hard surface. So I'm here on the grass, walking in the garden. So if you would fall down, then you won't hurt yourself. Ideally, you would apnea walk on the beach, on sand. So preferably do not do this on hard surfaces. If you feel dizzy, lightheaded, or disoriented, then you have to stop. And this can happen because apnea walking is a more difficult way of holding your breath. You will feel that it sometimes can be very hard. So if you start feeling that things get difficult, if you start feeling maybe less control in your movements, in the way you're walking, then stop. You don't want to get to the point that you would actually faint and fall. Never push to the point of loss of motor control. What does that mean? It means that you should never push, that you come into a situation where you have no control over your movements anymore. Before we jump into the 3 exercises, guys, if you want to get freedive ready and train your breath hold at home, and that includes apnea walking, then join my underwater squad, school.com/underwater squad. You'll get access to our full breath hold training program, live Zoom sessions, and a worldwide community. Click the link in the description, school.com/underwater squad. And back to the video, the 3 exercises. Exercise number 1, 5 times till the first contraction, 2 minutes rest in between. So we're gonna do 5 sets of apnea walking until the first contraction, and we're gonna breathe 2 minutes in between. So how do we start? We start with 2-minute preparation, then take a final breath, then start walking. Then we do recovery breaths, 4 recovery breaths, then again 2 minutes preparation, tidal breathing, then final breath, and so on, 5 times. So if you're not familiar with contraction, if you don't know what is a contraction, then watch this video here up in the cards. Frankly, if you don't know what is a contraction, then probably this video is too difficult for you, and you should just learn how to hold your breath while being still, so static apnea. So you better stop watching if that's the case, because apnea walking is a more advanced way of breath holding. So the first contraction is the first manifestation of the urge to breathe. It is the respiratory muscles that contract, some kind of hiccup, some kind of spasm. So when you feel that, you stop, you do your recovery breaths, 4 times, and then you do tidal breathing through the nose. Stand still, you don't need to walk, just stand still. And then after 2 minutes, you can time that on your clock. You take your final breath again. And then you start walking again until the first contraction. Repeat that 5 times. This exercise is very good for creating awareness. So if you're unfamiliar with apnea walking, if you're unfamiliar with when exactly is this first contraction going to happen, then this exercise is for you. Plus, it's not that difficult because you stop at the first contraction. So you're never going to go into hard labor. Now, I don't like to use the word, but I did anyway. We're not going to push it, because if you hold your breath until the first contraction, that's a pretty easy breath hold, right? So this is the kind of exercise you want to do to get used to apnea walking. Exercise number 2, 20 steps while apnea walking with 2 breaths in between. All right, now we're gonna do 20 steps and with 2 breaths in between. So the 20 steps are gonna be slow steps, the same pace as seconds. So you don't need to follow your timer, but you know more or less what is 1 second, right? So in your head, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. So not too fast, not too slow either, just normal, steady pace, small, relaxed steps, 20 steps. And when you stop, you're gonna take 2 breaths. So that's gonna be first exhalation, right? Then again, exhalation, then a final breath. And then you start walking again. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you reach 20, and you start walking again. You do this for 10 minutes first, then if you get used to this, 15 minutes, and if you can, later 20 minutes. You have to build this up gradually, so don't go for 20 minutes immediately. Give yourself time to become better at this, right? If 20 steps is too much, then do 15 steps, and if 15 steps is too much, then start with 10 steps. Don't ask me, Gert, where should I start? Should I start with 10 steps? Should I start with 15 steps? Should I do 10 minutes? Should I just try this out for yourself? Start easy, see how you feel, evaluate the situation, be honest with yourself. If it was difficult, don't lie to yourself and tell yourself it was easy. You don't gain anything with this, you don't win anything with this. And why am I saying this? Because I know many students lie to themselves. When something was difficult, they try to convince themselves it wasn't that difficult, it was easy, so they can do next time a harder breath hold table, as if that is going to help you. You have to become honest with yourself, and I would even say that after 10 years in this freediving community, learning how to freedive is an activity that challenges you to be honest with yourself, and that is, I think, one of the most difficult things in life, to be honest with yourself. So evaluating the situation and acting accordingly upon that evaluation, that is what makes you a better freediver. If it was difficult, then decrease the number of steps on the next session or the number of minutes. So tweak this until you feel that, okay, this was more or less the right intensity, not too easy and also not too hard. And exercise number 3, square breathing on the count of 4 or the count of 6 while apnea walking. Here we're going to do square breathing over the count of 4. If you do not know what is square breathing, then again, this video is probably not for you, way too difficult. But anyway, you can watch this video here, I'll link it up in the cards. So in this exercise, we never stop, we always keep on walking. And you inhale through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you exhale, everything through the nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold again. So this is a hold after exhalation. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, in, 2, 3, 4. And while you count the seconds, you also do the steps. So your steps are always at the same count as the seconds. Got it? So if square breathing over the count of 4, if you do this for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and it's easy, then next time you can do over the count of 6. And now that you know those 3 exercises, I hear you already asking, I can read the comments already before you have even written them. Gert, how many times per day or per week should we do this? Should we do this twice a day? Can we do this more than twice per day? Should we do this once a day? Can we combine this with the going to the gym? How many times this and that? Okay, guys, you gotta stop. You really gotta stop asking me those questions. Because this is not what it comes down to. Learning to hold your breath longer does not come down to how many times you should do something. What it comes down to is that you learn to understand yourself, that you learn how you react to breath holding, and that you act accordingly and that you tweak your next session upon how you felt the previous time. That is what is important. Not how many times you should do something. But because I know that you are not happy with this answer and you really want to know how many times per week you can do this, or per day, it's not per day, it's per week, I will tell you maximum 2 times, twice per week, because apnea walking is difficult. It can be harder than just static apnea, and you shouldn't be doing just apnea walking. You should combine it with other exercises, for instance, static apnea and stretching. Many of you are forgetting to stretch, or maybe you're not forgetting it, but you think like, hey, if we don't do it, we'll get away with it. But then I see problems creeping up later with the final breath, and you feel tension. And all of that is because you've been neglecting stretching, of course. So you got to combine it with stretching and also with, well, why not go to the gym? Why not go to the gym? Freedivers should go to the gym as well, right? So combine apnea walking with other exercises, not just breath hold exercises, but working out in general. Oh, and I almost forgot, a workout does not necessarily mean you have to work out your muscles. This is freediving. So you have to work out your brain as well. So what do? You practice mental techniques, you practice visualization, practice visualizing stuff. So you can use that while doing static apnea and while doing apnea walking. If you want to see another video about apnea walking, click this video here. Peace in every breath.